I just first want to give thanks to our ancestors in the Most High, who we share. Whatever you call it, Allah, Buddha, Krishna, Jah, Jehovah, Jireh, whatever that is, I say yes. Because I know that's the reason we're here. I'm giving thanks for my sister Chanel here, who's holding it down in leadership, knowing that we're all, Lady Blue, give thanks for you. Oh my goodness. Savvy, give thanks for you. Destiny, Mark, Maxine, who've been on the scene since the beginning. I just want to say that, y'all, the whole Rafiki team, y'all, clap it up for the Rafiki team. I felt friendship. I don't know if y'all felt friendship. More than friendship, I feel kinship. So I just want to say that, and I want to give thanks. I also want to ask for just patience with time. Right now we're living where we have to remember that we go fast alone and far together. And so I'm so grateful to be here today to talk a little bit about self-determination, Kujichagulia, resilience, but like Lady Blue said, the abundance or the medicine that we carry. I'll give a little more pretense on who I am on the technical side, right? Because you know how you are with your family. We like, y'all know Brandi, we just talking, but I'm going to introduce for the humans who may not know me here. Some folks see the name out there on the produce. I'm the mother of 3 beautiful, melanated, magical daughters. So I often start with that because in the world we're often told to start with the degrees and accolades, but what to me the biggest degree and honor is being a mother. It is what pushes everything I do, right? Everything, thinking about the yet to be born and being born. Ooh, when you become a mother. I'm the 8th daughter of Arlene Bennett, a woman who cooked in the kitchen of the Panthers. Okay, and so before movement, she had all the babies. Folks who are old enough know in the movement before funding was community. Folk was dropped off at people's house. We was eating everywhere. We had the sheet on the floor. It's like 7 of us. They made a pot of beans and rice and some spaghetti and stuff, and we sat and ate. We didn't say nothing. We went outside and played, on the floor. So I just give thanks to my mother, who's not on the planet physically anymore, but she just is there every day, especially in that kitchen and in the soil, every time I go outside. So in the world, I have the privilege, I say I'm a pawpaw farmer. Meaning my pawpaw taught me everything I know. I later went on in the world and got some technical certifications. But my pawpaw taught me everything I needed to know. In the world, I hold the title as a biomimic designer. I'm a permaculture designer, a traditional ecological designer, a holistic health educator, and developer and designer. So those are some of the technical words, right? I just had to throw those out there. But my pawpaw taught me how to farm. And I have to tell you, it wasn't something I liked because I grew up, as Tanika Blue said, I grew up from Hunters Point to Deep East Oakland. So some of us grew up like that. Most of us came from the South anyway, right? We're going to talk about that later. And so the context I have to tell you is that, again, I grew up in the 70s from the Bay, San Francisco. And my papa had a farm in Oroville, California, in Butte County. Okay, and we were sent there because sometime in movement, again, shit was crazy. We had to go to Grandma and Papa's house in the summer. Sometime we stayed there and went to school there. Talk about a shock. So when you look at my school record, I went to 13 different schools in the state of California based off of growing up in movement. And so folks say, where's she at? Where's she from? I say the state of Cali. I'm just the state of Cali because I grew up everywhere. So I went from Berkeley where the Panthers are walking around sovereignty to Oroville where I was called nigger on the way home from school. That was some real reality. I also was at my papa's farm, which I totally thought was slavery. I'm come from Berkeley. And my cousins was there, and they was working in the morning. I said, look, we can call CPS. Y'all ain't got to do this. We liberated. We ain't doing picking cotton and stuff and outside and stuff, dirty and stuff. My cousin's you gonna get a whooping. So I was we went to the woodshed. I don't know if some people don't know what the woodshed is. They said, Papa gonna take you to the woodshed. I don't even understand what you're talking about. Okay, I only have one trip to the woodshed. After that, I learned very early that part of living there was working. Part of waking up every morning, you didn't go outside and just play. You went outside in the morning, you had work to do. I didn't understand this quote unquote slavery actually is what saved my life because I had to live that juxtaposed life. I also was a teenage mother. But it was that remembrance of the soil and the learning of the preserving with my big mama. All of those sitting in the church, jumping in, all of that is who made me who I am. So I'm so grateful for that. And I just have to give that context because I still think it's quite funny. The one cousin from Berkeley who said slavery had the nerve to keep doing that work. So I just, the cousins now today say to me, and you even got chickens in your backyard in East Oakland? You really doing that stuff? So if you allow me today, I want to touch base a little bit deeper and share some more context about food sovereignty. I want to give thanks for our beloved Israel Family Farm, who I'm stepping in for today. They had their very first farm stand day today, and they're Black farmers who are really doing sovereign farming. They're not doing large ag. They were here last year, and they were due to come today, and so I'm jumping in for them this morning, and we're on the same page. We be kinfolk, so just roll with us here, and if anything feels out of context, just gonna check in, okay? But we're there. I gotta first give some shout out, y'all, because we're not the only groups of folks thinking about food sovereignty, resilience over this country right now. And so just giving highlight to some of the groups that are melanated, Black folks working across the whole states thinking about our food sovereignty, thinking about the Farmer Collective, California Justice Collective, the Urban Growers Bugs Conference, that's Black Urban Gardeners Conference and group that happens, the Black Farmer Fund of New York, the Southern Exposure Seed Company. Anybody buy seeds? That's really important. This is an intentional community Black seed company. She has seeds of George Washington Carver in her vault. The wonderful coordinator of the California Farmer Justice Collaborator is in the back room. She puts her hand up. She actually just came from visiting with our elder in Virginia, touching the seeds of Carver. The butterfly movement, y'all might see us outside, right? The Black Church Food Sovereignty Network. If your church ain't in it, call them, tell them to get in it, okay? It is the Black Church Food Security Network. It's essential. Heal Food Alliance, y'all, and the Northeast Farmers of Color Land Trust. So just a snap up for these groups that are holding it down. Just got to give it out. Again, fast alone and far together. Just the context I want to continue for us to hold. Always starting in Sankofa, often when people ask me, well, how did you get into this designing? I was sharing with some comrades earlier, and particularly when I go to different sites where many people don't look like me. And they go, how did you get into this? I say, well, my ancestors designed the pyramids. How couldn't I get into it? I don't know. So I always have to give them, and I believe that you all are still trying to figure some of it out. I'm not sure. So just a little context for folks who are going, this is something. I have to say that before we adopted some of the different designs of this place on the planet, a very new place really in erection, which we all know, we have had calendars and spaces. And I want to say because of just the way that the computer did, it kind of got them mixed up, and I don't want to give information isn't correct. So Shimu is actually, when we look at our Kemetic calendar, and just wanting to share this, is actually the harvest. So right here, where's it? He said point right here. Which one is the point? Okay. So this is harvest, okay? Right here, Shimu. This is the harvest. This right here is actually the flooding, right? I'm looking at my notes to make sure. And this is the planting of the seeds. In our ancient Kemetic calendar, we had 3 major seasons. We had the flooding, we had the planting of the seeds, we have the harvest. What's so essential about each one of those stages, they all were celebrated, and it was more about physical, just seeds and throwing stuff. Every single piece in every phase also has celebration and ritual. As a part of our work in the butterfly movement, that's what we tend to celebrate, are all the different rituals and the design around not just eating the food, but everything that comes before that, which is so much more. But just as you can see, as we've traveled across so many boats, we now have adopted and adapted ourselves to another calendar. I want to remind all of you that you're living systems, that we're living systems. And so when you think about the time of flooding, we've been told that's bad, but it isn't. We've been told that dryness is bad, but it isn't. There's still healing there also. So I want us to think about, as we go through our personal seasons, how we're broken down really into the 3 stages: the flooding, the seeding, and then the harvest. Okay? So very essential. Of course, we could not have any more context without thinking, I want this to kind of be where we float with. Now, Rafiki's known for the 7 principles. And so, again, we're so highly evolved. And some folks go, well, the person was wrong. I said, I don't care who did it. We all should celebrate unity, right? We all should celebrate self-determination, huh? Okay, what does it mean to work collectively and be responsible? We did that this morning for the children. Talk about cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and the one thing we have to do every day is live in faith. This is essential. This is about food sovereignty, so just know that. Give a little bit more context, and I think it's so very, very important for us to look at that our U.S. food system, y'all, was built on stolen land. I know I'm talking to folks who know that, but I'd like to remind us sometime, because we just kind of get in this aloofness. There's more on this. Give thanks. Ooh, you're going to talk about that in our Q&A, because see, I know it's more knowledge than anyone I'm speaking of. I need you all to know that the farmland that was controlled by African American has continuously, y'all, declined. A shameless plug right now, some of those groups that I had on the front, and I'll share this presentation, have different funding streams to support you. If you got people back home in Louisiana, Alabama, all those places, don't sell the land. I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission so we can make sure we can keep the land. Don't say, even if you ain't farming it right now, we have to think about the yet to be born, and we got resources for it, so I just want to acknowledge that. But we have to understand, when we think about food sovereignty, it's even hard to think about it if it was like built on stolen land, right? The history of this country and American capitalism is built on this. Okay, now folks familiar with this amendment, right? Anybody not familiar? I'm gonna give like the layman terms of, this was supposed to be the amendment that abolished the slavery, right? This was the amendment, I mean, you know, but there's a word in here. I'm gonna pull out in here. So where is it at? Except as punishment for crime. You all, they abolished slavery, and then what do we open up? Say it again. Because now we have some free labor, right? I ain't even gonna hold on to that slide long ago, but I just wanted to give context so that folks can understand when we think about slavery being ended, if you have beloveds, and if you think about mass incarceration was just the next design of slavery. So it's not disconnected. So, and I know for some of us, because I'm an abolitionist, I must tell you, I'm an abolitionist. Part of my work in the world is closing them down. I'm not a reformist. I got cousins reformists. I got cousins that are COs. All of it. I'm the abolitionist. I'm the one who's saying no. That nothing is healed in a cage. Even if they began to try to tell you that it is, because some of us have tried to, drink the Kool-Aid. No, they just need to go to jail. We thinking that's some healing. But it was another way to fuel the capitalism of this country, I must tell you. That right now in the state of Alabama, we have prisoners growing food for $2 a month. For Whole Foods. Where people are shopping. If that's not slavery, folks are eating healthy and organic. Slavery. And we know who those people are in the prisons too and what they look like. So again, when you think about the 13th Amendment and our beloved who's coming later, she didn't broke it down even deeper. But I'm just giving a little tiny tip just to show you how it's affected also our food movement. Because they figured, wait a minute, we ain't gonna have no slaves to work the yards. What we gonna do? We didn't have the machines yet. We didn't want to give the coloreds credit for creating the machines, so we didn't have them. So now we got to figure out a way to get free work. Some kind of way. Even the unions. We'll talk about that another day. I want to talk about in the diaspora as we got on our way here. The things that we brought, because we have to understand that often, I know that we're on stolen land, and for some of us, we are on our land. Right? Like, because some folks think like, well, no, it's the indigenous. I was like, well, my cousin and we indigenous too. Everybody did. We all of us. I just want to remind us. But there were some key things that my cousins from the diaspora, from Ghana, Cameroon, that brought over seeds and food that no one would have eaten unless we brought it. Must remember that, and I have to highlight those so that we can see the okra, the cotton, the sesame seed, the black-eyed pea, the eggplant. If you look in the world today, they'll say, well, those are Mediterranean. Maybe they're from Egypt, Africa. I have to remind us because they've done a job at like slicing things so that we cannot make it a thing. So you have to know Africa, the black rice, y'all. Yo, coffee before Starbucks. You have to understand, like at the pop-up when we first started, y'all, we had the sisters from the Urtria community come and roast the coffee beans because it's ritual in our community for coffee. Before we went to Starbucks and plugged up a phone, we were sitting together with the children. The mamas roasted their coffee beans, made some popcorn, and it was our time to sit and talk. Now there's Starbucks. But I want you to know the origination. That's the sovereignty. We have to know our past to grow our future. That's what's happening. You know, a community don't pay attention to the past is just fallow. So we got to think about it. I want to give more context to you about this industrial agriculture that we see as we drive down 99 and Highway 5. Nothing but fields and fields and fields. Oh, our planet is crying, and she's saying, please no. She's saying, I don't grow like that. I like to grow with diversity. She said, I want to grow like the three sisters with the beans and the squash and the corn, because then I can regenerate the soil. Do you know the soil continues, the same soil our ancestors walked on? So if you need to remember them sometime, take your shoes off and just walk in it. You'll connect with them. But it's so essential for us to know that this industrial system, with all this waste that we have, is not the natural way. And I have to tell you, it's caused all of this. All of those industrial food, and we're wasting. Some people say, Brandi, and this is the one I want you to think about, human trafficking, industrial agriculture. How are you buying chicken for 49 cents a pound? Something ain't right. Something ain't right. I want us to think about that when we think, oh, it's a good sale. I want you to think about, so what did it take then? Well, who got paid then? Well, what did they do then? Something got trafficked, left out, laws pumped up. I'll give you an example. I kept 100 Red Ranger birds right at the onset of the pandemic because I watched my community in a tizzy. So I said, oh, shoot, I got to jump out. I got to go get some chickens. So I went and got 100 chickens and put them on the land, and I shire raised them. Shire raised means they just ate the grass and the worms, not no chicken feed, because that's what the chickens ate back in the day. We had no chicken feed. They just ate grass and worms because that's what they eat. So I gave them just grass and worms. Well, I had 100, and I don't know if anybody in here was a part of the chicken share. So because it was a chicken share, I had family members and elders on TM outside, and they like chicken. But I got tired of them waiting in line during that pandemic. It was too much. I was feeling uncomfortable, so I kept the chickens. And I got 100 of them, and I was like, okay, we got to take care of 18 weeks it takes for these chickens before harvest. Well, a week before, one of the chickens fell and plopped. I thought, oh, God, I can't sell these chickens. What if it got something? So I took it to the UC Extension. And the lady there said, oh, the chicken is just a little fat. I think, it's been eating real good. If you'd like me to give you some antibiotics to go ahead and keep your chickens until next week, I'll give you a bunch. It's free. I said, well, maybe it's just I harvest them this week. I don't need them to get bigger. That's not my intention. I want them to be healthy. But I want to tell you that that's the industrial food complex we're dealing in. It's money. She said, well, if they're bigger, you get more money.
She didn't say anything about the antibiotic side effect and what it was going to do to the people who are going to eat the chicken. So this is why, and all of us know, you didn't went and looked at a chicken wing and know it ain't right. Y'all know you have. Everybody say, this is not right. You know it's too big. You be like, that ain't no real chicken. That's a part of the industrial factory farming, y'all. It's also taking our trees out, okay? It's metal, it's E. coli everywhere. The fast food and obesity pandemic, all of it is a part of it, the industrial. So when we think about food sovereignty, it's so very important for us to think about folks who have the capacity to grow their own food, process their own food, and distribute it. That's sovereignty in a cultural way. Those 3 steps. It's essential that I also give this context, y'all, because this is us. So this also helped fuel this industrial complex because it scared them. You know, they lost labor. So then we start migrating, moving, right? Look we came on. Most of them, Louisiana. Who in there from Louisiana? Where my Louisiana family at? Come on now. Like, wait a minute. I'm learning how to work this thing, okay, there we go. I had to do the Louisiana. Mississippi, where my Mississippi? Chicago, right? But the migration definitely had a part to do with our food system because labor loss. So we had to build more factories. We had to do it faster. We had to put more things in it so that we could sell it faster and make more money. Right now, this is something to note, that 45% of America is owned by 5 families, the land mass. 45% of the land mass is owned by 5 families. There's a book that we co-wrote called Landing Justice, and it has a lot of amazing authors in it, but it was like years of research because y'all know they got shell companies and shell companies and shell companies. So you know, because I ain't gonna tell you this, the 5 families own 45% of the land. That's pretty big. And this whole food and this whole system is built on racism. So let's talk about it. So I have to acknowledge, because often when we say Black, it almost disconnects us from the diaspora. And often you'll hear me say melanated because of that. Because I said, once again, this American construct disconnects us from our community in the diaspora. It does it on purpose so that we can stay all separate, right? Makes it better, easy to confuse the people. So, you know, keep the Asian people, the Latino people, and keep those people, when really, we're all really connected. But this is so very important because right now what's happening to the community that is being faced so much, look at this, y'all, the Asian, 9%. Diabetes. This is the what equals unfood sovereignty. We're living in a world where diabetes you think is hereditary and is by design. Let me just say that because they got us. No, everyone in my family has it. This is just what we have. I want to say, well, maybe everybody ate the same food. Let's say that. Maybe everybody had the same regulation issues. Maybe, you know, our environments were quite the same. But I don't want us to keep holding on to some of this design that was put in us to create that. It was intentional, too. So it kind of keeps us in a whole little loophole of like, oh, okay, I think so, you know? I won't go into that one. But this is important, and I give thanks because I was there at this event in 2007 when we actually coined this. So it's like a whole thing now. So like food sovereignty. They thought we was nuts in the food bill when we were in UN talking about, what do you mean food sovereignty? There's no such thing. You know, you're talking about sovereignty with other stuff. They don't even, because we understand we're being weaponized with our food. I'm watching folks, because you see it now, you can eat food and heal or you can die. It's very simple. It's not a really hard thing. I want to read it because a lot of thought and a lot of amazing humans went into writing this. It says, food sovereignty is the right of peoples to healthy and culturally appropriate food, produced through ecological sound and sustainable methods, and their right to define their own food and agriculture systems. It puts the aspiration and needs of those who produce, distribute, and consume the food at the heart of the food system and the policies rather than the demands of the market and the corporations. Thank you all for letting the Butterfly Movement, Dream Girl Farms practice food sovereignty here. That all of that food out there from culturally small, brown, and black women farmers who are not producing for the demand of the market. We're producing for Rafiki. We're producing for Breakbox Thought Collective in Fresno. We're producing for Casamont High School in Deep East Oakland. So, well, we don't have billions of dollars like some of those, oh, it's billions of dollars, because it's more than just the dollar. That when they started overpricing food, clothing, and shelter, it's almost crazy. Those are things to me that all humans should just have. So it's just really scary. So I just want to thank you all for letting us use our food sovereignty here today, because some folks go, well, you don't have enough volume. So we don't produce enough food to go to the large spaces. So during that food pandemic, y'all, when we were getting food from large farmers, you were bailing out Trump farmers for folks who were filling away. I want you to know. Because the small farmers were told by subsidy that you don't have enough to put on the trucks. So they had to turn their food in. So we have to think about that. I'm saying this as a shameless plug for all. Go know your farmer. Go find one. We got all kind of urban ag. Go know somebody growing food. You ain't got, people say, oh, I don't get dirty Brandi, sister Brandi, that girl, that's what you do. That's fine, but know your farmer. Know somebody tending your land. It's just like your nail technician, some folk. Your hairstylist. Know your farmer. Your food. Real. I just want to say, you know one, she right here. But my brother, know that my brother says this, and it's so very true. Land is the base of all independence. Freedom, justice, equality. They not building no more. I keep bringing us back to the land because we are people rich in land, and sometimes we don't recognize it. And I just want to remind us that that is our abundance for the yet to be born and the ones who are being born right now. So to whom you give your money, you give your power. That's what W.E. Du Bois said. It's so very true. We're watching it right now with the Target thing, right? Yes. Yes. Ooh, I get a little chills because I'm like, what happens when we do it for everything? Holy moly, we're on to something. You know, as uncomfortable as this time is, it's pushing us to get together and know we got change. I just have to say, sometimes you got to get uncomfortable to grow. That's how it works, you know, all the time. But remember who you're giving your money to. That's so important because that's your power. They're moving into it. So I get a little bit into the work that I'm doing. Just kind of give you a little bit of context there. I'm really grateful, and as I told you all, I was born and raised in this Bay Area, Alta Bates Hospital to be exact, in Berkeley. And I've had the opportunity because Ubuntu is what I live. So I've had the opportunity to work with Divine Reflections, as I say, young women. And I'm the co-founder of the Butterfly Movement, and we work with Black mamas and daughters from soul to seed to soil. And people say, well, what do you mean by that? I said, well, I'm a Black mama and I got daughters. So I can't say that I was a person going out there like, let's start a nonprofit. It was like I got 3 Black daughters. And I want them to know who they are, whose they are, and the context of this world where they can stay rooted. I had the nerve to raise them with no TV, natural hair, and in the parks. Oh my God, I had to do something to make sure they knew they wasn't just like, fallow. So I always remind folks this butterfly movement was evolved from me as a mother, but also as a person who just felt very much in need to share the story because we're all divine reflections. I've had the opportunity with the butterfly movement. We started a Sankofa project during the pandemic when everybody was ready to garden then. Folks was like, oh my God. Now some folks know we've been building urban gardens for years all over. That pandemic hit, folks was calling, Mama B, you can get this yard now, girl. Come on in here. I'm moving all this stuff on out here, girl. You can bring them greens. I got all the stuff, right? And you know what? I said, yes, here I come. There's no shame. There's no blame. Whatever time it is, you just go. Is this the time? Okay, let's go. So we got busy and we organized from, again, Hunters Point to Deep East Oakland, and we start putting in backyard gardens in people's houses. Ashe, right? All my elders, everybody. It was like, and we still doing it. Now we like 5 years in, folks got tree collars, stuff established, and we just like doing a thing. This is a mutual aid thing. I have to tell you too that I'm a little weirdo person that I don't have a salary. Our nonprofit is completely volunteer-aid. I feel so very blessed to be a consultant. So this nonprofit is for our community. Kind of old school, I know, huh? Sometimes it's like, what do you mean, Brandi? I was like, no, I feel really privileged to have some education. And so everything we get to do, we get to give for folks who really, really don't. Because we do know that there's like a whole deep misproportion of our community who don't have access. And so for those of us who are privileged to be able to go to different schools and be in different places, I feel that this is what I have to do for my ancestors. That's just what it looks like. Castlemont Farms is one of our largest projects, and I get a little sensitive because my young man who was just ran down, Dr. Boomer, was a young man that I tuteled, and he worked that farm when I left the farm. I designed the farm at Castlemont High School where I graduated from over 15 years ago. We're growing sugarcane there. We're growing bananas there. We're growing sorghum there. Ancient grains so the children can see who they are. Dr. Boomer was a math teacher. He came, many people come to our schools, come in and out. Y'all know that. Again, they come, get their dissertation, get a little bit of information, and bounce on out. This Dr. Boomer, he didn't, y'all. He came in there, young black man from Tennessee. He said, I'm staying, Sister B. I ain't going nowhere. I said, okay, I'm going to see, okay. He would come out to the farm, during the pandemic. They shut the schools down. They shut the farm down. We have food in it. I said, I got to get in that garden. I got to feed families. What are y'all talking about? What law, public land can't get the food? Huh? Boomer said, Sister B, I don't know. Somebody must have left the gate open. I said, oh, okay. And so we went on back there and made sure we was able to feed the community. This was a teacher. He was just regular Boomer, but then as he was there, he would call me. We'd have these regular weekly check-ins because he'd say, Sister B, man, you just understand this. So we talk. He said, I think I'm going to get my doctorate. So he became Dr. Boomer. Sustainable Urban Design Academy was what he was running at Castlemont High School, where we're teaching kids how to build their own house, grow their own food, and collect their own water. That's sovereignty. That's sovereignty. So if you're in Oakland and you get a chance as we rebuild, please put some time into that space. We're just holding that space in sanctuary because for me, we're not as good if we don't help our next generation. Like we got to be seeded into them. It's essential. The living pantry is what you're experiencing outside right now, y'all. This living pantry, because y'all know sometimes our pantry look dead. But some of us, we grateful we had a pantry. Anybody remember that trick where you fill up the 10-gallon bucket, you put a couple of nails in the bottom of it with the plastic so when you put the rice in there, it don't go bad? I got to do a class. Y'all forgot. See, because here's the thing. During that quote-unquote depression and folks were starving, our people was cool. We was on land, man, eating good. We had all kind of preserving and methods and everything we needed. So I just want us to remember that you come and we stand on shoulders of giants. So as Lady Blue said, folks who are like, oh, worry, we don't have enough. I'm like, oh, get over it. We just got to go back, Sankofa, fetch it. You got to go back, Sankofa, fetch it. Don't get all scared. Soul Stroll, very, very excited you all. The butterfly movement made a move during the pandemic because we also saw that, we had a lot of energy in urban areas and we're trying to feed our people and we need to think about urban and rural. Think about food, urban and rural. So the butterfly movement, boom, bounced and created a homestead in Tuolumne County. We're right near Yosemite, right where the Buffalo Soldiers were. Because folks say, Yosemite, are there colors there? Sister Brandi, why are you guys thinking, what's going on? Have you left? I said, see, this is our thing. We've even allowed folks to put us in a little box, thinking that we're in one little spot, and give it our money, which is our what? Power to one little entity. I said, look, folks, the butterflies move closer to Hetch Hetchy so we can wash the water. Don't worry about it. Because that's that 187-mile aqueduct, y'all, that's feeding us our water. We watched what happened in Flint. I reminded some folks, I go by every month and wave. Hello, and just drive on by. Excited that the butterflies are in a new groundbreaking venture of inoculating mushrooms, working with the National Forest System, thinking about our forestry and the native folks who kept the land, right? We didn't have these fires and this stuff. Food sovereignty for every culture just saves the planet and the people. When the native folk were here, they did burning ritualistically. Y'all were friends with the fire. They also remember it nomadically. Certain places, certain time of year, we wouldn't even live. We said, oh, we got to go down this mountain right here. Oh, we got to go back up here. That's why we got these feet. So this is how we going. Oh, we got to forge right now. So we going to forge. So the butterflies are excited because as we got deeper, and because, yeah, I'm privileged to not get paid. My crew ain't all the ways privileged. So the soil is loyal, and we're excited. I don't have a whole lot to share, but we're working with the National Forest System. We're looking at workforce development, clearing the forest, but inoculating those logs with mushrooms to sell to our community. So we're very excited about that because mushrooms are high medicinal medicine for our people. So we're trying to do a twofer. Save the planet and the people. You know what I'm saying? Like it'll be a twofer. So we're in incubation with that. So I'm really excited to share more as it comes. And lastly, we're doing some really wonderful work. I share with you that I'm a biomimic. That's a big old fancy word. I know people say, what do you mean? I mimic nature. I am a faculty of the Biomimicry Institute for Social Innovation. You can look it up. But right now we're in a deep study. And we're studying how does nature trust? I know y'all thinking about that hard. Like, Brandi, where did that question come from? It didn't come from me. I jumped into the study because it was very important that we can no longer let folks that don't look like the community from community create big, large research, design pages about things without us being there in the space to make sure we are represented and that they know. It is a 2-year study. I'll finish in December and make sure you guys get a fresh copy. Because this information, ideally, because I have to tell you, I'm a Cali girl, so I love all the humans. I think it's something we are from Cali. So I'm in this study in a very naive way because I want us to be able to trust one another as human species better, y'all. Because that's what's going to get us to the next level. I know we got all the different skin suits and genders and all the stuff, but what I will say is this new generation, they abandoning a lot of it, which is awesome. And I always tell people the worms already knew anyway, so get over it when you talk about gender and stuff. Anywho, I ain't going there. Some folks like, Brandi, where's she going? I'm not. But I was saying that to my young folks because I want you all to know that Mama Nature's been here 3.8 billion years. This planet you're on and human species, you're quite a new thing. As much as you may think you have it all, you're quite a new thing. So if you should take a step back and want to learn some, go listen to nature. Go sit and look at a tree and listen to that bird and see how it's doing. Did you understand that the raven and the fox have a good relationship? Let me give you that example. Let me tell you how their relationship is in nature. So the raven likes to fly around and it gives the wolf, right, a signal when it's flying in a certain pattern that there's some prey. Then the wolf comes on in and snatch the prey, because otherwise, if the wolf came in, it may not get the prey. The raven is giving them a specific signal. Now, these are two different species. One wouldn't even be thinking they hanging out together. They hanging out tough, working together. Nature has done that, right? Humans just learned this thing, diversity. I'm like, oh, come on. Watch nature. You guys are behind here. The raven is moving around in a certain pattern that they didn't work out. Wolf comes in, snatches the prey. Raven gets to also eat on the carcass. They sharing. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. Everybody eat. So when we think about this sovereignty, it ain't about no monocrop or only one group. I remind people every day, everybody eating free breakfast from my mama cooking in the kitchen of the Panthers. Everybody eating free breakfast. It ain't one person, right? That movement made sure everybody ate. As much as folks want to go, oh, there's militant, oh, they. I was like, wait a minute, I see the public school now, everybody got free lunch. Oh, there was a thing there. So I just want to remind us that nature has the answer. So often if you see me looking off in the days, I'm just trying to listen for some knowledge from nature. But that's what a biomimic is. I host leadership retreats for women. We go off up in nature. And if you want to develop yourself based off nature, that's some other work that we do as well. This idea of the living pantry, I just wanted to get a little bit deeper into it because, and Savvy, give me some time, I'm looking. My 5 okay, all right, because I was like, I just heard myself. She was like, I was giving you a signal, but not. I gave a little background a little bit earlier, and what really started was I just watched our pantries being dead. You go in a pantry, you got food in there for years. You don't use it, it's not living, and you're going like, what's going on? So I first started like I do anything, and I did a whole bunch of questions. We got busy, and I asked over 500 people in Bayview, like, what's in your pantry? That was the first thing we did, because it was like, I can't say people have in their pantry unless I really know. So we asked folks what's in their pantry. I said, I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna design more living pantries. I wanna connect more chefs and farmers. I want us to eat real food. Again, folks like Rafiki who are willing to have a swag bag with free produce in it, right? Where do you go get a swag bag like that? I was like, how are these so-called unsuspected ways that we can actually connect people to be more living and not just dead in our food diet? So we began thinking about recipes to reactivate ourselves. How many people remember sorghum syrup? Anybody has sorghum? You from the South? Sorghum? Okay, I saw some sorghum. Come on now. I know someone's going like, wait, that's a grain, an ancient grain that's already gluten-free. And I said, let me do some recipes to reactivate us, because this world got us thinking that your community just eats such bad food, and you guys just don't know how to eat. Those poor kids never saw a tomato. I mean, and I have to say, no, I got to have some recipes to remind people that we had all of our foods were naturally gluten-free. So recipes like, sorghum salad. I think I made it here on our 13th anniversary or something, Maxine. I did a sorghum salad. But it also puts us together in this whole ecosystem, because see, in that large food system, they like to separate you. Once again, y'all, monocrop, these people here. So like our farm doesn't produce enough to even use traditional refrigeration. So we can't get refrigeration, because according to their system, we're too small. So that means that we, like, as we were doing this dance today, we're like, okay, well, where do we put our food? We don't have enough where to put our food. In this living pantry, what I'm doing now is I'm connecting food hubs and people together, because I realized, I said, we just got to build what we need then. We can't keep fighting them to use their refrigerator. We got to create our own living pantries, and we got to make small big again. Do you understand what I'm saying? Small, big again. Anybody like boutique shopping? Y'all know ain't nothing like, I know I don't want nobody else to have my stuff that I'm wearing. How about we look at it like that? Like, how many did you make of those? Oh, only 3? Cute, I'll take one. Okay, and I'm over in Chicago, so I don't know if I'm see someone here. I'm giving you that analogy with our food. I know that we go in those super stores, like, oh yeah. I'm like, how about we make the small big again? Because your food really requires that small from the small, like shop from the small grocer. And I hear us going, it's not a lot, it's too much money. Sister B, it's a lot of money. So the next thing I'm gonna say, get to know your farmer. The farmer always has so much food. If you just know a farmer, you will never go hungry. You will never go hungry. So you ain't even got to be in the soil. So I'm busy putting together different platforms and roles so that folks can see that. We're busy growing people. This was just us last week at Castlemont High School. Again, if you get a chance, you're in Oakland, you want some sugar cane, it's harvesting now. I'm gonna keep talking about it because I don't want to waste. Go get some sugar cane. I'm growing it in East Oakland, okay? It's really there. But we're bringing out volunteers and people. We're in Fresno, California, working with my beloved Jamila, holding it down, Breakbox Thought Collective, opening up their pantry. She said, look, I run a school program with young kids, and I'm not giving them no fake food. She said, it's not aligning, sis. She said, we've been trying, but the food ain't aligning, and I can't keep talking about healing, and we don't have no good food. So I was great. I said, well, girl, let's do the living pantry. So we went in and trained the trainer, their youth. And so now they're cooking food, making smoothies, talking about it, designing, got a whole menu, buying from their local farmers. That's the intention of the living pantry. Because it ain't about us doing it. Everybody got the tools they need. And then the thing that we're doing, y'all see us up here, I'm inoculating, and I had to share this. And y'all see that, Angel? So I cut these logs. I had a oak tree that needed to be cut. And when you need to inoculate mushrooms is 3 weeks after the log is cut. Otherwise, other fungi will take over. So here I am, as you can see, I'm drilling and I'm inoculating these logs with shiitake mushrooms and lion's mane. They'll harvest by next year. I'll come and bring the share. Okay? Takes a year for them to harvest in logs. But this is the most natural way that nature does it. but they're going to keep coming every year for the next 7 years without me touching them, just with the rain. Ain't got to do nothing to them. So she just keeps giving. The Sankofa Gardens I mentioned, y'all, we're still out there growing food everywhere. Brother Crockett, like he said, picked up plants last week. We still growing, y'all. We're growing pop-ups, all the stuff. We all the way in Fresno now too, y'all. We saying no more front lawns, only gardens, okay? So we are literally taking folks' front yards and we growing food in it. Because that's what we need. All of us. And if you ain't doing it now, I did classes here back in the day. We can grow on the fire escapes. And Randy ain't got no front yard. Just come holler at me. We can grow. That's it. I ain't tripping on that. We don't need a front yard, okay? Just know that. It's so essential. Then lastly, these two young folks, y'all, who actually provided all of our herbs, these are two proteges, my babies. You know, this young man helped build the farm at Castlemont High School. We sent him off to Paul Quinn University. He got a degree in agriculture. He came back. He's running the farm, right? That's his job. He's running the farm. Wonderful Cherry sent her off. They were working with me. You know, those odd kids who come in the back, work with Sister V on the farm. She went out to UC Davis, got her degree. They both back running the farm. That's the intention, right? Like, pass the mic. We got to pass the mic so that they can develop. It's so essential. You know, folks say, Brandi, so we do. And then the thing that has hit my spirit lately is that we got to connect urban, rural, brown and black community, because this society has done a number with our food in that community. When we said no more slavery, our comrades came in. We're like, well, maybe we can work a little less. We got some energy to heal there, y'all. So I was told you got to be the change. Sometimes I'm like, damn, the way you was born, you know, I got to go do this too. I grew up like, I don't know. It's like, you can't just talk about it. You got to be about it. So this is our second annual Tend Her event. I pulled together brown and black women, those strawberries coming from my Hermana down in Watsonville that you're eating right now. This is our second annual event. We're in Merced at my wonderful good friend Angie, those sweet potatoes. Those are from her farm. Okay, and we're working together because we like sisters, we got to get together on our food for real. Right? And with the sisters. I'm just going to say that because also in our agriculture is so dominated that the sisterhood don't get together. So we're moving out of the word farming and we're saying tend her. We want to tend her. We want to tend the land, y'all. Farming means to farm something out, part it, separate it. When mama is a circle, first of all, she ain't no straight line. We got to know that. And she works in unison like that. So if we tend her, she tend us. If we tend her, she tend us. So that's the new word I'm trying to throw on the planet too right now, y'all. So I'm just throwing it out there. You hear somebody say farming. I'm say, no, I'm Tinder. And they say, no, not the dating app. Tend her. Randy ain't on a dating app. Tinder. Y'all, I just want to thank you for letting me jump in on a real quick skinny minute. I want to open up for any questions, any comments, and thank you.
Thank you, Sister Brandi. My name is Tony Hines, and my question is, I live in Bayview where I believe, true or not, that the soil in my house is toxic.
Yeah.
So do I need to raise a bed? Do I need to plant some peas? What can I do to tend her?
Give thanks. I was just down in Exeter, California. And if you don't know where Exeter is, and the reason I'm giving context, because Exeter has the similar contamination as we have here in Bayview. All of those major large farm areas, they've just chemicalized them. And I got a group of sisters out there like using sunflowers. You can use sunflowers. You can use mushrooms. Part of the reason we're doing mushrooms to actually clean the soil. In between it all, and I got one of my young, healthy heroes sitting in the front row. She's also doing the smoothies out front, y'all. Shay Les, she helped build up Adam Rogers' garden, okay? We did that too. But if you're not saved, let's just build up. You can build up. Most of the food that we're growing are not touching the root where the food is crazy. Here's the thing I want to say for folks who are worried about that. The food you're getting at the store, you don't even know where it come from. And even if they put the sticker to say organic, You don't know it unless you grow it. You don't know it unless you grow it. Yes. Thank you.
I live here in the Bayview also. Will you help us do a garden
Oh,
in our
yeah.
places?
Oh, yeah. You know you all could call me. I've known y'all for some time. Only if y'all promise to compost too. Oh. There's my rule. Compost is a part of gardening. Don't forget.
Good morning again, Brandi, and I just want to say the strawberries that you gave me yesterday, I didn't gobble them all up. I went over to my son's house, and we had a wonderful time. We put them in a basket and put them in the colander, and they were just a treat for dessert.
Ooh.
And I want to thank you for all of the knowledge that I got from you yesterday. I'm a resident of Visitation Valley for over 45 years, and I'm an educator, still doing it. And I would love for you to come, and I'm going to come down and visit you first, because I would love for you to come and do some work in San Francisco at the famous Thurgood Marshall High School. Ashe.
Yes.
Thank you so very much.
Myself say shalom to you in Hebrew
shalom, sister.
means peace. And I want to say that I just met the new executive director, and I introduced myself. My name is Salah Haquiya, and I'm an abolitionist, social justice fighter for my people, for my nation here in Bayview, and I am the contribution of the black, red, green, and gold. That's all on from Evans 200 Post to Jamestown. It's myself made that happen in memory of the murder of my son and the San Francisco quadruple homicide. However, January the 9th, 2015, my son was murdered simply by trying to cash his check on his half-an-hour lunch break. But now carrying on the torch, I have my 13-year-old granddaughter here now, broke her up early in the morning. She nodded
Thank you, baby.
to be here. She's 13, and I'm now taking her, me and my daughter, out of the educational school system.
Yes.
And this is the first time that my daughter decided to do this, and it's been a challenge. All my funding was cut by Manzunga, who said that the only way that I can continue to get funded for the years that I have been doing this work, I have to put my children back into the school system. I say I will not bow down, and I will not serve you. And I know that there's a way that we can start teaching our own children. And so I would like to know, how can I just made sure that she just graduated yesterday from the 7th to the 8th. She passed homeschooling. She had to move with me. I'm the grandmother to make that happen. I'm ready to carry on, and I want to know, how can we bring her to you for the summer?
Straight up.
She's 13, she's not 14, and I need your help, because I do realize that it takes a village.
Yep.
Thank you so
Straight
much.
up. I got to plug in. I did forget, we will be doing an impact pop-up series at the Southeast Community Center every second Saturday, starting in, next Saturday. So June, July, August, September, and October, we'll be at Southeast Community Center with that pop-up village, all that stuff you see out there. We're going to be at the SEC, so I'll definitely connect so we can meet those babies. Yeah, I'm feeling good.
I just want to make a comment. I'm a resident of Oakland, and when you mentioned your grandparents with the farm, I remember my grandparents always having a big old garden. It was big, and it was just you always had your own food supply. So when they said get out there, and you get up early in the morning, and they were busy, and you were like, okay, this is child abuse. I just thought these people were crazy. It's like, what up? But I look at all my family members and that industrialist and that industrial attitude about things and everything, and my grandmother canning. So when my mother bought her house in East Oakland and she realized she had fruit trees, she had to call my grandmother, and she go, okay, give me the recipe how to can. And when we had COVID, I had to pull out the recipe books and start canning. And so it just came naturally. So everything you have said has been right on target. You can do it. Start doing what you need to do. Pull out them old cookbooks and recipes. Call up your relatives. Start doing what you need to do, and start taking care of your family.
That's it. Oh, give thanks. Please, y'all, because we know each other. I think I started with fast alone, far together. And it's always going to happen. And I leave you with this little example of that, because as a mother, you know how we have all, just move out my way, I can get it done faster. Just go now, I got it real quick. But here's the thing, if you don't slow down or show them, they'll never know. So I just need to remind us of that. Because I know I've done it, like, just let me do it real quick. It takes a little more patience. You do got to do a little bit more sensory work. Go and get some cam service, okay? But we've got to go together. We just can't lead nobody. That's the most important. You ain't going to go. You're going to go real fast just in a circle, but you ain't going far. You ain't going far. I thank y'all so much. Thank you. Thank you.